First, though, let's talk about a new art therapy program that is giving cancer patients on the island a creative outlet for coping with their diagnosis and treatment. Last fall here on Island Morning, we met an island doctor who was doing a research project on the need for art therapy on Prince Edward Island. A local art therapist heard that interview on our show, and now together they've created a weekly art therapy class for oncology patients. They hope it's the first of many art therapy programs across P.E.I. Island Morning's Nancy Russell brings us the story.
And I have buttons for flowers. I like the texture of them.
Sharon McNeil sits at her sewing machine here in Kristen Griffin's studio in North Wilshire. This space used to be a store. Now there's a stage, work areas for painting and sculpting, and the store shelves are filled with art supplies. Sharon McNeil was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 years ago. It had already spread to her liver and spine.
I'm like, oh, art, come on. I'm like paint by number, and if there's no rules, I'm not too good. Kristen, she challenged us very gently. She said, I want you to think of a project that somehow expresses what cancer has done to you or what you have survived or how, somehow tie it into your cancer. So I remember that first session. I couldn't stop crying. The tears just came. I think it's the first time I really cried. I really cried for myself.
Chantal Gagnon was also diagnosed with breast cancer 4 years ago. Today, she wears a bright yellow Relay for Life t-shirt as she works on sculpting a clay apple.
I've felt for the past couple of years since I've had cancer in 2011 that I've lost a lot of mobility and I have a lot of body limitations. So working with the clay, I love the smell, I love the texture, I love the feel, I love it when it's wet. It's just really something that's amazing, and it takes me to another place, focus place. So it brings a lot of good stuff.
My name's Dr. Nancy Yao. I'm a resident physician here on P.E.I. For my resident project, I did a research project on art therapy, and people brought in their work and brought in what they had done at home and how it had helped them. And they talked about using art as a release, as a way of getting their emotions out and as a way of dealing with this pretty awful diagnosis.
It's working.
Yeah.
I'm Kristen Griffin, and I am a therapeutic arts programmer, and I moved to Prince Edward Island about 5 years ago. The Oncology group is a group of the most amazing, brave women that I think I've ever met in my entire life. They're all in different areas of working through cancer treatment, and some of them are kind of in the last stages, and others are, still fighting the good fight. And they are absolutely incredible in terms of their spirit and what they're able to share with each other when they're in the group. And what I find most interesting and beneficial is they're able to just drop everything. They're able to drop the idea that they need to be strong in front of their families and express themselves. And whether it be grief to inspiring each other, they go through every single emotion that you can possibly imagine while they're in class together. And they not only share with each other, but they're also sharing a part of themselves while they're doing their art projects. And it's truly inspiring.
I think it's so awesome. I cannot tell you. I know that there were weeks when I thought, I can't go, I'm too depressed, or I just can't do it. And I would get here and I would spend an hour and a half working on my clay, and when I go back home, the weekend would be, it was like a 360. I can't express how much this has benefited me.
The Oncology Art Therapy Group started out as a way of gathering information for Nancy Yao's research. But then everyone wanted to continue. So Kristen Griffin opened up her art studio to the group once a month. They now meet every 2 weeks with talk about going weekly.
What I do is I sit down with each client and I speak to them about what their experiences are, and I create a project that's actually going to be something that they can sink their teeth into and tutor them through that process. So everyone's doing something different in the oncology class.
There is a special project that I'm working on, will be working on. It's sort of what I went through when I had chemotherapy. So I will be doing a sculpture of me, and then maybe in a year from now I'll be able to look at that and see how far I've come. So that's what our goal is.
A lot of times cancer patients lose their identity and they're defined by cancer, or they feel like they're defined by cancer, and other people see them as defined by cancer, and that's all they end up talking about all the time. And so, there were a couple members who talked about using art to find out who they were and who they are now as opposed to who they were before their cancer diagnosis.
That's been really lovely to watch. When they think about crafts and they think about art, they're actually a little bit scared. They get over that really quickly and suddenly just kind of sit back and start enjoying the project for the project itself. And then they can't wait to come back the next time.
For Sharon McNeil, discovering she can do art has also been therapeutic. Her fabric project is now going to be a wall hanging. She calls it her tree of life. And it has a special meaning in her cancer journey.
I went and got a piece of paper and started drawing, and so what came out of it was that this is what's left, and that's where cancer cut me. And I will have a big pot of flowers growing there. I haven't got to that part yet. But although I know that I'm metastatic and I haven't a lot of hope for a cure, I still hope for a cure.
Yeah, it's not easy work, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
This has really opened up a lot of doors and made me stronger, and it just clears your mind.
It's helped me realize how art is so beneficial to every person, and it could just be used in such a powerful way.
For Island Morning, I'm Nancy Russell in North Wilshire.
Dr. Nancy Yao and artist Kristen Griffin are now involved in setting up a new cooperative to promote art therapy, not just for cancer patients, but for islanders with a wide range of conditions, including dementia, brain injuries, stroke victims, and many more. And we are going to hear more about those plans coming up after 8 o'clock here on Island Morning.